We're almost to the end of the NBA season, and talks already, all these awards and everything is heating up. There's one I want to touch on, and that is the coach of the year, right? And look, there's no one clear-cut coach of the year, if you ask me. Everybody, there's a ton of coaches that have a pretty good case for themselves as far as like why they should win coach of the year. We know what they're doing in Cleveland with Kenny Atkinson and that team, all-star after all-star, best record, and winning 15, 16 games in a row. This is eye-catching, building off of what they did last year as well, because we thought that team was going to, kind of change up a little bit. But Donovan Mitchell came back, and we've seen what this team has been able to do. They've added pieces to it. So that is why their record looked the way it is. That is why this team is as dangerous as any other team in the top tier in the NBA. So I can see why you got Kenny Atkinson up there. You got OKC, right? OKC, they were number one seed last year. They're the number one seed in the Western Conference this year. So consistency, right? And you got a guy in SGA who's up for MVP himself. That's for another discussion later, if he can win that, or if they will select him to win that. But you have a really good nucleus and young guys, on this team. Other teams that I've heard about, people they mentioned the Lakers. You might even mention, Houston, as far as like what Ime Udoka has done. But there's one team that I want to bring up. There's one team that I want to point out. Not saying that they will win it, because it's probably not in the cards for them. He should really get the props that he deserves, and that's the Detroit Pistons and coach JB Bickerstaff, right? This team, coming from last year, and there's something to be said, and when we've seen it, before with the Detroit Lions, as far as like figuring it out, getting it together, being there. There were some games we know that they lost multiple games over and over and over, going on a consistent streak the previous year. But going into this season, Cade Cunningham is an all-star. You're not losing those games, and at this point, they're sitting at six seed in the Eastern Conference with a chance of finishing fourth. They're right behind the Milwaukee Bucks with a game and a half lead on them. So this is a team that could be a top four team when it's all said and done. They won 14 games last year. They've almost eclipsed that 3 times as much. They almost have won 3 times as many games as they won last year. So I'm just saying, am I a little biased? That bit, but I'm just saying, if you got to throw JB Bickerstaff in there. If you're going to be talking about coach of the year, if you're going to be throwing in those other guys, deservedly so. But to take a team that nobody expected them to be doing this, to even be in a play-in, which they're not. They're in the playoffs. They got the 6th seed. But to have them above that and have them in position to possibly end as a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference, I think that's coaching, if you ask me. I'm just saying.